How's it going, Armed Forces Initiative? Trevor Hubbs with another book review today. Today, for the first time, we're actually going to do two books at once, and I'll explain it here in a little bit. We're going to do The Crowded Hour, which is about Theodore Roosevelt and the Rough Riders by Clay Risen. Great book. Really enjoyed it. I've talked about this before, but I like history books that tell a story, history books that are easy to understand. I enjoy the flow of a story, the beginning, the middle, the end. Controversies, obstacles. I like all that. This book provides it, makes it easy to learn. The other book we want to talk about is just Rough Riders by Theodore Roosevelt. Now, interesting because he's talking about the same thing, right? The Crowded Hour, which is Charge Up San Juan Hill, which Teddy Roosevelt won the Medal of Honor for. Same book that he's talking about, the Rough Riders deployment to Cuba during the Spanish-American War, the Charge Up San Juan Hill, but this one is from Teddy Roosevelt's own tongue, his own mouth. Right? Now, the interesting part about this is, one, Teddy Roosevelt's a wildly interesting guy. He's the only person to win a Medal of Honor for valor in combat and a Nobel Peace Prize, which are, if you think about it, just diametrically opposites areas of accomplishment in the world, and he got both of them. One of the fathers of the modern conservation movement in America, one of the fathers of public land, an absolute, he may be like the most interesting man in the world. Like in reality. I don't want to take anything away from Clay in this book. Again, wonderful book, great storytelling. Really hits on Theodore Roosevelt's exceptionalism as a man, as a person, as a leader, as a soldier, everything. Like, just hits on all the great things Theodore did that day, Teddy did, to lead his men up San Juan Hill, to take the guns while the Spanish soldiers were like holding civilians hostage and trying to shoot from behind them while they were tied to the outside of a building so they couldn't shoot back. All kinds of stuff. Really hits on why Teddy is just an impeccable example of a human and an American, right? Now, the difference is Rough Riders, and this is what kind of sells you on the fact that Teddy is so great, is Teddy doesn't talk about himself at all. This book that Teddy wrote is all about the men who served under him. It's about his XO who just did some amazing things. It's about, there's a South Carolina soldier that just exemplified himself. So you got guys from Arizona, New Mexico, they're just wild horsemanship, and all the people that didn't get to go on the deployment because they could only take so many, and just how they all deserve to go and how great his men are. And that's the example of a good leader in the military or anywhere, is he takes the opportunity to write a book to talk about his boys, the men, everything they did that was so amazing, and why any award that goes to him should go to them, because the 1st United States Volunteer Cavalry did amazing things. But anyway, so that's why I want to do them both. Read them both. Rough Riders by Theodore Roosevelt and The Crowded Hour by Clay Risen. They're both great books. They both tell you the same story. But I find if you just read one that's all about how great Roosevelt is, you may start to think of him as a bit of a blowhard. And that's not the case, right? You start to think of him as maybe he's got a self-inflated ego. But once you read the book that he wrote about the same events, like, wow, this guy is not about himself at all. He's about the team. He's about the unit. He's about how do I make my guys earn or deserve or get everything that they've worked so hard for. How do they get that recognition? Anything about Teddy Roosevelt's probably worth reading, but I'd recommend starting with these two, and they're easy reads. Thanks.